My name is Alex, and a few years ago, I learned a hard lesson about trust, planning, and keeping your cool when everything falls apart. Lauren and I had been living together for almost 2 years in a decent apartment downtown. Things started off great, shared laughs, late-night talks, the usual stuff, but lately, it felt like we were drifting. Arguments over small things turned into long silences. She'd come home late from work drinks, or catching up with friends, and I'd pretend not to notice the extra perfume, or the way her phone stayed face down more often. I told myself it was just a rough patch. We'd get through it. Then came the week she said she needed to visit her family. They lived about 600 kilometers away, a full day's drive, and she claimed she wanted some space to clear her head. Just a week, she said, packing light. I nodded, kissed her goodbye at the door, and watched her car disappear down the street. Part of me hoped the distance would help. The other part already suspected something. That same afternoon, I decided to grab lunch at a spot near the riverfront. As I walked past a popular patio restaurant, I froze. There she was, Lauren, sitting at an outdoor table, laughing, her hand on some guy's arm. It took a second to register. It was Ryan, her ex from before we met. The one she always said was ancient history. They looked anything but ancient. She leaned in, kissed him quickly, then threw her head back in that way she did when she was genuinely happy. My stomach dropped. I didn't storm over. I didn't yell. Instead, I pulled out my phone from across the street, zoomed in, and took several clear photos, her face unmistakable, his too, the table number visible, time-stamped. Proof. Cold, undeniable proof. Then I turned around, walked home, and sat on the couch staring at the wall for a long time. Our lease was month to month, requiring 60 days notice to vacate. Lauren wasn't on it, only my name. That detail suddenly felt like a gift. I called the landlord that evening. He was a decent older guy who'd always been fair with me. I explained the situation quietly, no drama, just facts. He listened, then said, "Give the notice. I'll keep it between us. When do you need the place cleared?" I gave notice the next day. While she was supposedly 600 kilometers away bonding with family, I started quietly looking for a new place. Found one fast, a similar apartment, slightly better view, same rent range. I signed the papers, paid the deposit, and began planning the rest. For the next few weeks, I played the part perfectly. When Lauren returned, all smiles and stories about her family time, I stayed distant but civil. I suggested couples therapy once or twice, casually, like it was no big deal. She brushed it off. Sex? It wasn't even on the table anymore, and I didn't push. She started staying out late again, occasionally texting that she was crashing at a friend's. I just replied, "Okay. Be safe." No questions, no accusations. Inside, I was counting days. The landlord helped coordinate viewings. Prospective tenants came by only when Lauren was at work or out with, well, whoever. He never said a word to her. Solid guy. I packed slowly, in secret. My furniture, my books, my clothes, most of what filled the place was mine anyway. Hers fit in a few boxes and bags. I hired a small moving crew for the final day. Everything was set. The morning of moving day arrived earlier than Lauren expected. The crew showed up at 7 a.m., quiet but efficient, boxes and tape ready. I'd already taken the day off work. Lauren stumbled out of the bedroom in her robe, hair messy, looking confused as guys carried out my couch. "What's going on?" she asked, voice rising. I didn't answer right away. Instead, I walked to the kitchen table, where I'd laid out printouts of the photos from that patio. Clear shots, her laughing, hand on Ryan's, the kiss. Time-stamped. She stared at them, color draining from her face. You followed me, she whispered. No. Just bad luck. Or good luck, depending on how you look at it. My voice stayed even. No shouting. No tears. Just calm. She tried to explain, something about needing comfort. Things were bad between us, it didn't mean anything. Classic lines. I let her talk. When she finished, I said, the lease is in my name. I gave 60 days notice weeks ago. New place is ready. I'm out today. Her eyes widened. You can't just, I can. And I did. The landlord arrived then, right on cue. He'd been waiting in the hall. He stepped in, polite but firm. The apartment is turning over. New tenants move in 2 days from now. You have until midnight to remove your belongings. Anything left after that goes to the curb. I'll need the place cleaned. Lauren looked between us, stunned. This is insane. You planned this. I shrugged. I planned to protect myself after I saw the truth. She started grabbing things frantically, clothes from the closet, toiletries from the bathroom, makeup from the dresser. The movers continued their work around her, boxing what was mine. Within a couple of hours, the place looked half empty. My side, gone. Hers, a growing pile in the living room. I took one last photo that day. Not out of spite, but because I knew I'd want to remember the moment. There she stood in the middle of the room, surrounded by black garbage bags and cardboard boxes full of her clothes, shoes, hair products, random knickknacks. No furniture left, every chair, table, lamp was mine. She looked small, lost, angry, humiliated. I didn't gloat. I just felt, done. The crew finished loading my stuff into the truck. I handed Lauren the keys. You've got till midnight. Landlord's number is on the fridge if you need him. Good luck. She didn't say anything coherent, just curses under her breath mixed with tears. I walked out, closed the door behind me, and didn't look back. That afternoon, I unpacked at the new place. Simple, quiet, mine. Friends started texting, asking how things were. I told the story once, in detail, to the close ones. Word spread in our circle. People couldn't believe the patience, the planning, the ice-cold execution. No screaming match. No public scene. Just a clean, surgical exit. To this day, guys in the group still bring it up. Remember Alex's move? They laugh, shake their heads, call it legendary. Not because it was cruel, but because it was controlled. I didn't lose my dignity. I kept my head high and walked away on my terms. Looking back, the weeks leading up to moving day were the hardest part, not because I was angry, but because I had to pretend everything was normal. Lauren would come home from her nights out, smelling like cologne that wasn't mine, and I'd smile, ask how her day was, offer to make dinner. She'd ramble about work stress or friends, never suspecting I knew exactly where she'd really been. I kept a running list on my phone, things to pack, utilities to transfer, address changes. I forwarded my mail quietly. Changed my banking passwords. Told only 1 or 2 trusted friends what was happening. They helped scout the new apartment and kept their mouths shut. No leaks. No slip-ups. One night, she tried to initiate something physical. I gently turned her down, said I wasn't feeling great. She rolled her eyes, called me distant, went to sleep mad. I lay there staring at the ceiling, thinking about how close I was to freedom. The landlord deserves a medal. When I first told him, he didn't judge. Just asked, "You sure about this?" I showed him the photos. He nodded. Give notice. I'll handle the rest. He scheduled showings only during her work hours, or when she was with Ryan. Once, a couple came through while she was supposedly at yoga. He texted me, all good. They loved it. Smooth. I started sleeping on the couch some nights, claiming back pain. Really, I just couldn't share the bed anymore. She didn't push. Maybe she felt guilty. Maybe she didn't care. Either way, distance grew naturally. Packing was methodical. I labeled boxes, kitchen mine, bedroom hers. I left her stuff untouched until the end. Didn't want her suspicious. I even kept up small routines, groceries, coffee runs, so the place didn't feel abandoned. The day before moving day, she announced another late night with friends. Perfect. I used the time to stage everything, boxes hidden in the storage closet, furniture tagged for movers. I slept maybe 3 hours. Morning came. Movers arrived. Noise of tape ripping, boxes thudding. Lauren woke up angry, then confused, then panicked. That's when I laid out the photos. Her reaction shifted through stages. Denial, those could be old. Anger, you spied on me. Bargaining, we can fix this. Then acceptance mixed with rage. She screamed. Cried. Threw a pillow. I stayed quiet, letting her burn through it. The landlord's arrival sealed it. His words were like a gavel, midnight deadline. No negotiation. She scrambled. Called Ryan. I heard her whispering furiously on the phone. He didn't show up. Smart, maybe. Or scared. By noon, most of my things were loaded. The apartment echoed. Her pile grew, clothes spilling out, shoes mismatched, makeup bags unzipped. She looked around at the empty space and realized how little she actually owned there. It hit her hard. I didn't lecture. Didn't say, I told you so. Just watched her process it. When the last box of mine went out, I turned to her. Take care of yourself, I said. Simple. Final. She glared. You're heartless. Maybe. But I'm honest. I left. The door clicked shut. Truck pulled away. New chapter. Settling into the new place felt surreal at first. No shared closet. No waiting for someone else to finish in the bathroom. Just me, my stuff, silence that wasn't tense. I bought a plant. Hung photos of friends and family. Made it mine. Word got around fast. One buddy called laughing, dude, you pulled off the cleanest break I've ever heard. Another said, that's pro level. Ice in your veins. They exaggerated, but I let them. It became group lore, Alex's revenge. Not loud, not messy, just efficient. Lauren tried contacting me a few times. Texts at first, apologies mixed with blame. I was confused. You never fought for us. Then anger, you humiliated me. I didn't reply. Blocked her after a week. Clean cut. I heard through mutual friends she crashed with Ryan for a bit. Didn't last long. Apparently, reality hit when the excitement wore off. She moved back closer to her family eventually. No idea where she is now. Don't care. The landlord texted me later, place is spotless. New tenants happy. You did good. I thanked him again. He'd been a quiet ally in a storm. Reflecting now, the real win wasn't leaving her with a pile of stuff or a deadline. It was control. I didn't explode. Didn't beg. Didn't play games. I gathered facts, made decisions, executed. Calmly. People ask if I regret it. No. Cheating breaks trust. Once broken, you can't pretend. I chose self-respect over fake reconciliation. That's worth more than any dramatic confrontation. Friends still joke about it at gatherings. Someone brings up cheating stories, eyes turn to me. Tell the patio one again. I smile, shrug. Just did what I had to. It's not about her anymore. It's about knowing I can handle betrayal without losing myself. That's the legend part, I guess, not the move out, but the composure. Life moved on. New job challenges. New hobbies. Dated a bit later, carefully. Learned red flags faster. Grew. If there's a moral, it's this: when trust dies, protect your peace. Plan quietly. Act decisively. Walk away with your head up. And maybe snap a photo or two. For the memories. Years later, the story still circulates. Not as gossip, but as a cautionary tale mixed with admiration. Guys say, if you ever get cheated on, channel Alex energy. Meaning, don't rage. Don't chase. Don't self-destruct. Just remove yourself from the equation with precision. I've stayed friends with the same circle. We grill, travel, talk life. Occasionally, someone mentions Lauren in passing, usually whatever happened to, and I just nod. No clue. No interest. End of discussion. One time, a newer friend in the group asked for the full play-by-play. I told it straight, no embellishment. Photos. Notice. Landlord. Movers. Pile of clothes. Final pick. He listened, jaw dropped. That's cold-blooded, he said. I laughed. Nah. Just clear-headed. What people miss is the emotion underneath. I wasn't a robot. I hurt. Badly. Nights alone in that apartment before the move, I'd sit and feel it, the betrayal, the wasted time, the lies. But I channeled it into action instead of destruction. That's the difference. I never posted the photos online. Never humiliated her publicly. That wasn't the goal. The goal was freedom. Mine. Now, looking back, I see how much I grew from it. Stronger boundaries. Better communication. Less tolerance for games. When I date now, I'm upfront about expectations. Trust is earned, not assumed. The apartment. I drive past it sometimes. New paint. Different curtains. Life goes on there without us. Lauren. No idea. Maybe she learned something. Maybe not. Not my burden. To anyone reading this who's been through something similar, you don't have to scream to be heard. You don't have to burn bridges to leave. Sometimes, the strongest move is the quiet one: gather your proof, protect your assets, secure your exit, and go. No drama. No revenge porn. Just closure. And yeah, the photo of that pile in the living room. Still on an old hard drive. Not to gloat. Just a reminder, I walked away whole. That's the real legend. Not what I did to her, but what I didn't let her do to me.